your essential question for today is, how do we solve exponential equations? And we're going to be using logarithms to help us do that. So take a second and look at your first example. And it's very, very simple. 2 to the x equals 24. All right, for this problem, what I'm going to do is, since I cannot rewrite the 24, I'm going to log both sides of my equation. So what that means is I'm going to put log over here on the left, and I'm going to put log over here on the right. When I do that, the exponent is going to come down in front, so I'll have x log of 2 equals to log of 24. And so then what I can do after that is I can divide both sides by log of 2, and then that's going to give me x is equal to 4.58. And that would be the solution for that problem. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another one. For the next one, all right, for this problem, I do know that I want to solve for x, but before I can solve for that x, I need to isolate this expression. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides, and that's going to give me 10 to the 5x equals, and over here, that's going to give me 203. The next thing I'm going to do is, in order to solve this for x, this is my exponent up here, I'm going to log both sides. So I'm going to put log on both sides, and then that's going to force my exponent to come down in front. So I'll have 5x times log of 10 equals log of 203. And so I've got 5x times log of 10 equals log of 203. So to solve this for x, the first thing I'm going to do is just divide by log of 10. So I'm going to just divide by log of 10, and so that'll cross out. That'll give me 5x. And so now I just got to figure out what that expression is. So I'm just going to type that into my calculator, and that'll give me 2.31, because I rounded it up to 2 decimal places. So that's 5x equals 2.31. But here's where it's a little bit different than the previous one, is that notice this is 5x equals 2.31. So I still haven't solved it yet. I need to divide by 5. And so 2.31 divided by 5, and I'm going to round it, that gives me 0.46. And that will be my answer for that one. So just to recap, I added 12 first to both sides, then I logged both sides, then I divided by log of 10, and then whatever I got, I divided by 5, and I got 0.46. All right, for your next example, I've got 2 times 4 to the x minus 3 is equal to 9. And so I want to solve this for x also, but what I noticed is that I've got that 2 times in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to isolate this just like I would any other problem. So this is multiplication, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and so I'll get 4 to the x minus 3 equals, and if you plug 9 divided by 2 in your calculator, it's just going to give you 9 over 2. So I get 4 to the x minus 3 equals 9 over 2. All right, now that you've isolated this, now I want this exponent to come down, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to log both sides, and then that exponent is going to come down. And so I don't get confused, you see where it says x minus 3, I'm just going to put that in parentheses so I know that that's together. So see, that's x minus 3 log of 4 equals log of 9 over 2. And then to solve this for x, again, I'm going to do the same process over again, just divide by both sides by log of 4. Now, this one, it looks really complicated, guys, but your calculator will handle it. You're going to have to make a fraction twice. So I'm going to hit make a fraction, I'm going to make a log, and then this is 9 over 2. You can hit 9 divided by 2 if you want to in the numerator. And then go down, and then put another log, and put 4, and you should get, when you type this into your calculator, you should get 1.08 for your answer for that one. And then what you're going to do last to solve that for x, I'm just going to add 3 to both sides. So what you're going to end up getting, if you add 3 to both sides, is going to be 4.08. And that would be the answer for that problem. So again, you can just do in your calculator, you can just put log 9 divided by 2 over log of 4, and you should get 1.08. But then just make sure you add 3, and that gives you your final answer of 4.08. All right, for your last example for solving exponential equations, I have one that looks a little bit weird. It says 5 times e to the 2x plus 1 is equal to 127. The first thing I want you to notice, guys, is that the variable is not e. This is my variable right here. There's my x. That's my variable. That's my unknown. The e that's right there, that e, that stands for the exponential function. That's what that stands for, the exponential function. And so that's an actual number. It's kind of like pi. Remember, pi is approximately 3.14159. Well, e is approximately 2.71, blah, 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 blah. So this is a number. It's called the exponential function. Now, remember, logarithms are the inverses of exponentials. So e has its own inverse. Its inverse is called the natural logarithm. So in other words, e and ln, they cross each other out. ln and e, they cross each other out because they are inverses of each other. And so what I'm going to do is I know that I'm going to use ln for this problem because of this e that's right there. All right, so let's take a look at this problem. The first thing I notice is that this has got 5 times e, so the first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by 5. And I don't think that will simplify, but yep, it's just still 127 over 5. So I'm going to get e to the 2x plus 1 is equal to 127 over 5. Again, I'm not going to log both sides. Instead of using log on both sides, I'm going to use the ln button, so because that's the inverse of e. So I'm going to put ln, which stands for a logarithm. It's just specifically the logarithm that cancels out e. So I'm going to ln both sides, and if you remember, when you log both sides, this exponent is going to come down in front, and then what happens with the ln and the e, since they're inverses? They cancel out. So that's left over is 2x plus 1 equals ln of 127 over 5. And what I want to do now is use my calculator because I want to figure out what this is right here. So I'm going to type this into my calculator. So I'm going to hit Control e to the x. You see the ln button comes up, 127 over 5, and that gives me, I'm going to write this down, it gives me 3.23 for that part right there. But you're not done because you still got to solve this for x, which is very simple. Just simply subtract 1 from both sides. So you're going to get 2x is equal to 2.23, and then just divide both sides by 2. And when you do 2.23 divided by 2, that gives me my answer of 1.12, and I rounded that really quickly.